everybody. So for today's class, you are going to want to have a strap. Any long stretchy belt will work, or long non-stretchy belt. Anything that will just let you reach body parts easier. So we'll be using this in a little bit. And you should also have a pillow or two available. If you have yoga blocks or any other props, please feel free to have those handy. Otherwise, just whatever you have around the house is perfect. Some pillows usually is about all you need, and a strap, and we'll get started. Make sure you have water too if you want water. So let's all come to a comfortable position on your mat. So this evening, it might be nice to begin lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat. If you prefer to sit up, that's totally fine, but if being on your back feels okay in your body, then that's a great place to start today. If when you're lying on your back, you find that your lower back is a little pinchy or feels a little bit of pressure, keeping the knees bent is nice. You can also grab a pillow, or a couple pillows. This is one of my fluffy couch pillows. And bring it underneath the backs of the knees specifically, so I'm sort of bunching mine up. And then I also like to just tuck my tailbone under and settle onto my back from here. If elevating the legs just at the knees doesn't take enough pressure out, then just come back to bent knees. Let's take a few breaths just to settle in. Give yourself permission here at the beginning of your practice just to take up space. So the yoga mat isn't a box we have to stay inside of. It's nice to spread out a little bit. But along with spreading out with our body, it's also really nice just to imagine we were taking up more space. So soften all the muscles around your bones. Imagine you could let them spread out along the floor underneath you. And start to let the back of your body get a bit heavier. Start to consciously let go of held tension in the front of your chest and shoulders. Held tension in your jaw, your hips, your belly. Maybe you find yourself holding tension around your eyes or along your forehead. Just invite some softness and some settling here. Start to notice your breath. Without any judgment, without worrying about whether you're breathing correctly or incorrectly. Instead, just focus on a comfortable breath that's full and deep. You can allow that deeper breath just by relaxing front of chest and belly so that your breath can really inflate these parts of the body. If it's most comfortable for you to breathe in and out through your mouth, then breathe that way. If it's comfortable, you could breathe in and out through the nose, or you could breathe in your nose and out your mouth. But cultivate a conscious breath. Notice what's happening in your mind. And just notice if the mind feels really busy or if it feels a little quieter. Whatever you're noticing, see if you can just allow whatever's happening in the mind to happen. But if the mind is especially busy, see if you can pull yourself back from your thoughts. Just watch them without grabbing a hold of them. Let the thoughts bubble up, and then let them move along. Let's take 3 more slow, deep breaths. When you're ready, just start to invite some movement into your body. Could be fingers, toes, wrists, or ankles. Maybe a gentle turn of your chin over each shoulder. When you've moved a little bit, then let's move a little bit more. So maybe bend your knees, plant your feet. Maybe stretch your arms overhead if that feels good. Maybe rock your knees side to side. If your body allows and it's comfortable, you could bring one knee in towards your belly, maybe take it out to the side of the belly. Or you could take both knees in. You could hold the knees, you could hold the backs of the knees, and just rock a little on your back. Might even feel good to tuck the chin in. Then when you're ready, let's just bring the feet back to the mat. I'm going to scooch this chunky couch pillow out of the way. I'm going to throw it. So feet to the mat, knees bent. And let's roll the shoulders back to the mat underneath us. And I'm sort of tucking each shoulder blade more underneath me. And we're just going to begin with some movement into the legs, into the hips. So take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, just lower your knees to the right, rolling onto the inner and outer edge of your foot on each side. When you inhale, hug the belly in towards the spine gently. Bring the knees back to center. And with your exhale, move to the other side. So inhale to the center. And exhale to the right. Inhale to the center. And exhale to the left. Find your own rhythm here. Every time you breathe in, move to center. Every time you breathe out, switch sides, lowering the knees down. And so you can just let the knees fall, or you can take the hips into this movement a little bit. What matters more is that you allow the breath to lead this movement. So we begin the inhale and then the movement follows. We begin the exhale and then the exhale movement follows. And let's just notice for a few moments what it feels like to connect movement to breath. Finding your own pace. And you'll finish with a lowering down on the left side. So with the next time you move your legs to the left, that'll be the last time. And then just inhale yourself back to center. Pause, rest, just notice how your body feels. Make sure the back feels settled into your mat. And so for this next movement, just make sure you have some space above your head. So if you've got stuff in the way, maybe just scooch it out of the way a little bit. And extend your arms overhead. And notice where you can place your arms that feels natural without being too pinchy. If your arms are hovering above the ground, then take them wider, bend the elbows more until you find a spot where the backs of your hands can relax to the floor. And so just notice the shape of your arms. And then we're going to bring the hands down beside our hips. Just get them there any way you want to. And notice what feels natural here. So for some bodies, it'll feel natural to have the hands in close. For some bodies, it'll feel natural to have them a little wider. And we're going to start this movement with the palms down, thinking about where the arms landed overhead. We're going to move with the breath with the arms and the shoulders. So when you breathe in, lift your arms up and take them back. And as you breathe out, lift them up, bring them all the way back down. Inhale, take the arms up and back. And exhale, bring them up and forward. We're going to do this for a little bit. Just again, linking movement to breath. So find your own pace. Your breath might move faster than mine, or it might move slower. Find a rhythm and then just watch your breath. Inhale and then lift your arms, completing the breath, completing the movement. Exhale, then start to move your arms through the exhale, finishing as palms touch. Find your rhythm and continue with the breath. We'll do this a few more times, following your pace of breath. And if you're still going, let's let this last one be the last, or this next one be the last one. When your palms next touch the ground, take the arms a little bit away from your body. Roll your palms to face to the ceiling. Take your arms a little away from the body and just settle the backs of your shoulders into the mat. Settle the back of your head into the mat and take a couple deep breaths. Notice any warmth in your hips from the hip movement, any warmth in the shoulders from the shoulder movement. Then when you're ready, just do a little wiggle, a shake, or a stretch, whatever you need to do to unlock from that last feeling, that last pose. So for this next shape, you're going to want your strap, your stretchy belt. So you can use a yoga strap for this if you have one. You can use any belt that just gives you the reach. So we're going to be working into the backs of the legs a little bit. And so you're going to need to lasso your body. And I want you to just give yourself permission to let this be super awkward, because it usually is. So if you've done this before, you might be super slick with it, and I'll probably be pretty quick, but most people struggle a little bit with getting this into the right spot. So take your strap, and first we're just going to take the strap around the bottom of the right knee, or rather the front of the right knee. So we're going to lasso that knee, just like so, and you can shimmy the strap a little lower on your shin, or a little higher, whatever feels better. And then we're just going to hug that knee in, keeping the right foot relaxed. And now you can feel out what this feels like. If it feels too slippery, like it's not going to stay in place, then you could take your strap behind the leg, behind the knee, same exact thing, and hug it in. So relax the shoulders and bring the elbows back. So you may have to slide your hands up or down the strap. Relax the right foot. And now if you want to, you can experiment with the idea of taking the left leg long and just see what that feels like. You might do that and go, nope, 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 too much pressure in the back, and then bring your foot back. If you like the leg long, keep it long. But either way, we want to bring pressure in. Now if you can reach comfortably, you could also just interlace your hands around the front of the knee and hug the knee in that way. Believe it or not, the goal of this pose is actually to smush thigh into belly. So we want a little bit of pressure there, but we want to still be able to breathe. And one more big breath here. Nice. So next we're going to lasso the bottom of the foot. This one's a little trickier. So if your strap is already on the back of the calf, you might be able to shimmy it down and sneak it across the bottom of the foot. You might be able to do the same thing from here, kind of shimmy it down and wiggle it into place. But if not, don't be afraid to roll over to one side and just loop it around your foot any way you can get it there. But we want to have the strap around the bottom of the foot, shimmy it just above the center of the arch so it's just about at the ball of the foot. And then hold the strap, elbows back, and thumbs are up towards the ceiling, so they're on the top of the grip. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, press your foot forward, hug your low belly into your spine, and press the foot long and straight. Heel reaches away. Nice. Keep the elbows back, shoulders and head heavy. Squeeze the top of your right thigh. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bring that leg a little bit higher. You're going to feel out the place where your knee starts to bend a little, and that's too far. So I want you to take the leg forward until you can straighten the leg into the strap. And I like to climb my hands a little higher on the strap, dangle my arms back so my shoulders are heavy. So you can do that, or you can brace the elbows into the floor. So really active now. Big inhale. As you exhale, root your thigh bone deep into your hip. Yeah, good. Big inhale. Exhale. Bring the two sides of the strap together and hold with just your right hand. Bring your left hand down to the mat or the floor beside you. Take a nice big inhale. Press into your left foot. And as you exhale, start to take that right leg out to the right, opening it like a book. Yeah, my foot might go off screen. But you want to keep your left hip anchored down. I even sometimes place a hand at the front of my left hip. Press firmly into your left foot. Take another big breath. As you exhale, hug belly to spine. Bring that leg back up to center. Root the thigh bone down. Remember, your leg can be really far forward here. And now we're going to switch sides. So right hand comes down, left hand holds the strap. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to take the foot a little bit to the left. Now, it's really easy to go too far here, but you don't want to really go past your left shoulder. So bring it over a little. And then really reach up through the big toe mound of your right foot. Ah, there's a good stretch. One big breath here. And one more. Nice. Bring the other hand back, separate the strap. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, take the leg down towards the mat, keeping your heel reaching away, sliding the strap between your hands till it comes all the way down. Oh. Bring the strap up and out of the way for a second. Stretch the left leg out beside the right leg, at least long enough just to feel the two sides. And again, if this is uncomfortable for your low back, then you just come right back to bent knees, feet flat. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we want to remember first, just bring the left knee in. So you can use your hands for this or your strap. You can lasso the front of your knee or the back of your thigh. And we just want to hug this leg in. The beauty about being in the privacy of your own home for this pose, this is actually called wind reliever. Just let that sink in for a second. So you can keep the right foot bent, right knee bent, right foot flat. Or you can extend the right foot long if that feels okay in your body. Whatever you like better. Take a couple more breaths. Nice. Now comes the awkward part where we lasso the foot. So any way you want to get a hold of the strap around the foot, it might be where you kind of have to turn your leg sideways, lasso the foot. Might be a way to slip the strap down a little bit and then shimmy it up so it's more under the ball of your foot, like so. And I like to hold it so that fingers wrap underneath, thumbs are on top. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, press that foot forward, nice and straight. Support your leg with the strap, shoulders anchor back. And with your next exhale, start to bring the leg up. Your leg might not go very far up, depends on how tight you are in the back of the hamstrings. I like to crawl my arms up a little bit, my hands up, and then let my arms dangle. My leg goes more up and down. Your leg might be more forward. You might also notice a difference between this side and the first side. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, root your thigh bone deep into your hip. Yes. One more big breath here. Take your straps in just your left hand. Release your right hand down, palm down. Press into your right foot. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, take that leg out to the left. I've got a wall of props here, so my leg's not going to go very far over. And then press down through the right hip to really anchor it down. Press down into the right foot. Press out through the big toe mound to the inner edge of your foot. Take a couple breaths. Hug belly to spine with an inhale. Bring the leg back up to center. And we want to switch sides. So now hold the straps with your right hand, right arm. Your left hand touches the mat. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, bring the leg over a little. So this isn't about how far you go. It's about moving to the right place to get into the part of the leg we're targeting. So root the back of your hip down and reach the big toe mound, inner edge of the foot up. And you should feel a good stretch here, even though you're not going past your right shoulder. One more slow, deep breath. Inhale, come back to center. Separate the strap. Take another big breath in. And as you exhale, take the foot forward. Bring the back of the heel all the way down to the mat. Oh. And then set the strap aside for now. And for just a moment, stretch your right leg out beside your left leg and just notice the two sides. And then if the low back's at all uncomfortable, just come right back to knees bent, feet flat. So now we've gotten into the hips and the backs of the legs a little bit. Let's come up to a seat. So you can mindfully roll to one side and then press your way up. Any way you want to get to a seat, and any comfortable seat will work for this next bit. I like to get my hair out of my face. So sit up nice and tall. If you enjoy sitting cross-legged, then please sit cross-legged. Otherwise, any other sitting position works. If hips are tight or legs are tight, then you may want to elevate your hips onto a blanket, a bolster, or anything like that. Could be a pillow. Let's just roll our shoulders up to our ears, back. Soften them down. And bring your fingertips right beside your hips. Light touch to the mat. With your next inhale, float your left arm up. And as you exhale, come into the right hand. And I'm saying opposite what I'm doing because it's what I'm used to when I teach, but it may be mirrored on your screen. So we're going to breathe into this side body here. Big inhale. And exhale. Big inhale. And exhale. Hug your low belly and come all the way up. And exhale, float that arm down. Second side, inhale. And exhale, move over into a side stretch. And a couple nice big breaths into that side body. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Hug your low belly in. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale down. If your legs are crossed, switch the cross of your legs. So shake out your legs first, and then put the other side in front. It's usually the one that feels a little bit wrong or different. So settle in. If you're in any other seated position, that's cool. Stay where you are or change it up if you want to change it up. So now take a big inhale with the center of your heart. And as you exhale, we're just going to gently turn the body to one side. So you can follow along with me on your screen or just turn to whichever side you'd like to start on first. Take a nice big inhale and keep the spine long. And as you exhale, just explore the twist and think about feeling it in your upper back. We'll take a couple deep breaths here. And with your next inhale, float back to center. And then shake it out a little. If you want to roll your shoulders up, back, and down, you can do that. Take another big inhale. And as you exhale, let's twist to the other side. Doesn't matter if this hand comes all the way to the opposite knee. It could just wrap around the belly. Could be on the front foot. Could be on the floor if your arms are longer than mine. Anywhere you can just get a little bit of lift. So deep breath in. Exhale, explore the twist. And take 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, feel it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, feel the twist. With your next inhale, float back to center. And exhale, shake it out a little. So let's come to hands and knees, please. And if your knees are sensitive, feel free to put a folded blanket or a pillow underneath the fronts of the knees. If you want to grab a little sip of water or shake out the legs a little bit before we move to that shape, that's totally fine. So bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. Take them a little wider than maybe you think you would normally. And have your knees a comfortable distance apart underneath you. And then I'd like you to notice, most of the time when we come to hands and knees, we're quite short between hands and knees. Make sure there's lots of space. Yeah, and it's better for your feet to be flat. You can do that. Let's tuck my toes. Press into all 5 fingers and the base of all 5 fingers, where the base of the knuckle, base of the finger is. With your next inhale, tip your tailbone up, drop your belly and send your chest forward, your shoulders back, and lift the back of your head up. As you exhale, curl the tailbone under, belly to spine, chin to chest, and upper back to sky. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, round your back. We're going to go back and forth with your pace, your breath. Inhale, tailbone up, back of the head lifts. Exhale, upper back to sky, belly to spine. And move back and forth. Start to notice what's happening in the wrists. So really common for us to dump all of our weight into the heels of the hands. Send some of that weight forward into the base of the first finger or through into the base of the pinky finger as well. Spread it out. And we're going to finish on an exhale, so really round the back, long breath out. Then inhale back into neutral. Tuck your toes. Start to send your hips back towards your heels. You should feel a stretch into the toes and walk your hands back in a little bit. Put enough weight back that you could at least shift to each hand and shake out your wrist a bit. Yeah. Sometimes the elbows get tight or the wrists get tight. So come back to hands and knees when you're ready. Shift your weight into your left knee and send the right leg back, toes down, heel back. And we're going to wrap that outer right thigh, front of the right hip down towards the mat. Looking for a calf stretch for just 2 breaths. Nice. And then walk your left hand way over to the left. Swing that right leg around and bring it to the front of your mat. And if that's not graceful, if it's super awkward, that's really super normal. And then we're just going to bring either one hand on the outside of the leg, one on the inside, or both hands on the inside. And with your next exhale, you're going to sink into that front knee and stretch the front of the left hip, front of the left thigh. So we're going to be here for another 2 breaths. You can stay low. You could climb up higher for a little more intensity, lifting the heart. So high or low, your choice. Last breath. Nice. Now what I'd like you to do is start to straighten the front leg, walk your hands back, start to lift the toes, pulling them back, and we're looking now to draw this hip back and feel a little stretch through the back of the leg. You might feel a lot of stretch. If so, do it a little gentler. 2 more breaths. Press into the big toe mound. Yes. So we're going to do all that stuff on the second side. First, come out of this shape, so walk your hands over to the left. Wiggle that leg out from behind, or rather underneath you. And then we're going to go into the calf stretch on the second side. So you're going to shift your weight into your right knee. Take your left leg back, toes down. Press your heel back. Just a couple deep breaths. When you're ready, shift your weight forward a bit. Walk your right hands really far over to the right. Give yourself lots of space. Swing your left leg around towards the front of the mat. And then you want this leg kind of more straight than bent as you start to bring yourself to square towards the front of the mat again. Both hands inside, palms, fingertips, or fists. Or you can have one arm on the outside. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, sink into that front knee. So we're stretching the front of the right thigh, front of the right hip. You can stay down low for a couple of breaths, or you can come up high. Remember, you can climb your way up to the front of this forward thigh, lifting the heart. Last breath. Nice. Take your time. Shift your hips back. Start to lift the toes of that front leg. Yes. Pull them back. Press out through this big toe mound. Looking for sensation along the back of the left leg now. And then we're going to find our way out. So bring that foot forward. Walk your hands around. Bring your knees behind you. So for this next shape, make sure you have at least one pillow. Two is even better. If you have a yoga bolster, you can use that. We're going to bring the bolster or the pillow pile right in front of us. I'm going to fold this pillow in half because it's really squishy and add another pillow. I've got a little tower of pillows. Take your knees wider than your hips. And I like to point my toes behind me and bring my toes together. Bring your pillow pile kind of close. Lay yourself forward across this whole little mountain of pillows. Let's just take several slow, deep breaths, just settling into the body again, noticing our breath. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Press your hands down into the mat. Walk yourself up a little at a time. And then just toss your pillows out of the way for now. And let's find our way up into standing any way you want to get there. So it doesn't matter how we find our way into this standing on our feet, just get yourself there. Now if you have yoga blocks, standing poses are a great place to use them. Their only job is to just bring the floor a little bit closer to you. If you don't have blocks, you can use books. You can position telephone books near the front of your mat and get the same idea. Any other sturdy sort of blockish shape. Okay? I'm going to show you how I use blocks in this next movement. So I'm going to start with the blocks about shoulder distance apart at the front of my mat. And stand about 1 full foot's distance back from both blocks. If you don't have blocks, don't worry. You can also place hands on the thighs when I cue you to come down to blocks, so I'll remind you. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, back and down. Bring your palms forward. When we turn the palms forward, we sort of take the arms away from the body a little, and we spread out a little all across the front of the chest and shoulders. I have to watch a lamp here. With your next inhale, float your arms up. And as you exhale, bend your knees and first bring hands to thighs. And if you don't have blocks, just keep hands on thighs. Lay your belly across your thighs. And if you're like, oh, that's too much squish, take your feet a little wider. Start to roll yourself forward. If blocks are there, you can bring hands to blocks. Let your head go right here with the knees very bent. Shake your head no, nod it yes. When you're ready, as long as you're not feeling too much in the backs of your legs, then start to tip your tailbone up. Now, if your hands are on blocks and you're really far forward, then you might take the block lower till you find a level that feels right. And the important thing about this pose is not that the legs are straight. It's that you feel just enough stretch in the backs of the legs that you can let your upper body go, and you want connection between belly and thigh. If you're here, you're actually hurting your low back. So you want to make sure that really squeezing those two places together and lifting the back of the legs. So we're going to move with the breath. With your next inhale, whether you're holding your tops of your thighs or your blocks, you're going to come open with the chest. Big inhale, shoulders back, long back of neck. And exhale, pour yourself forward again. We're going to do that twice more. So inhale, lengthen, heart forward. Exhale, melt. And one more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, melt forward. Bend your knees, open your arms, press into your feet. Big inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms touch. Bring the hands through the center of the gaze. Thumbs rest slightly against your heart. Big inhale. Exhale, release your hands, palms forward. Inhale, bring your arms up. And exhale, bend your knees and dive down. Hands to thighs or blocks as you tip your tailbone up. Let the head go. Next inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, take your arms wide, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do that twice more. Big inhale. Exhale, release your hands. Inhale, float your arms up. And exhale, dive down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart. And I lost count, but we're going to do one more. Big inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, bend your knees, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, inhale, open your heart. Come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart. And now pause here. Thumbs against your chest. Elbows and shoulders heavy. Strong legs. Notice the warmth in your body. Notice your breath. Couple more moments. Just noticing the effects of what we just did. When you're ready, release your hands and shake it out. Shake out your legs, shake out your shoulders, your arms. And for now, let's set our blocks, our books aside if we were using those. So look around you to what you have for furniture or a wall. I'd like you to be at the front of your mat and have some piece of furniture nearby. So I have the back of the couch here, and I also have a wall here. You might have a chair you can drag over, but have a chair or a piece of furniture or a wall within arm's reach of either end of your mat. And I'll give you just a second to do that. We're going to play with some standing poses, but we're also going to play with a fun balance pose just to kind of see what happens. And it's nice to have a piece of furniture to play with. Okay? This is a good time to check in with your shoulders. Maybe roll them out to your ears, back, and soften them down. So come up to the edge of your mat that has that piece of furniture within reach. And we're not going to use it just yet. I just want you to know where it is and sort of be oriented to it. So let's bring our hands to our hips. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, sink your weight into your left leg. Yep. Try not to lock that knee if you tend to hyperextend your knees like I do. Instead, really have it be strong, hugging muscles to bones. And then just get a little lighter on your right foot. And play with the idea of a slower step back. But we're going to step back with the right foot. It can be fast. Slow is a little more challenging. Play with the idea of doing it slow. When you're ready, bring the right foot behind you. Doesn't have to be pretty or graceful. Just play with it. Yes. And when you're ready, take that right leg just a little wider. So we tend to step back on a bit of a tightrope, and I want you to be on railroad tracks with the feet. Back foot's going to turn out about 45. Watch the knee. If, like me, you're hypermobile, you want to keep a micro bend in the knee so it's strong. Yeah. Take the front of the left hip, draw it back, and right hip is going to wrap forward. So we're facing the short edge of our mat. Hands to hips, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, sink into your left knee, but keep the knee wide and right over the ankle. Yes. Upper body tends to lean into this, so bring upper body back, both legs working. Feel stable and strong. When you're ready, you can keep your hands beside you, just open the palms, hands to hips, or you could stretch the arms up overhead, comfortable distance apart, tops of the shoulders are soft for warrior one pose. Big inhale, and exhale, just feel this out. Pay attention to all the little things, what's happening in your feet, your knees, your hips, your shoulders. 2 more deep breaths. When you're ready, float your arms down. Slowly straighten your front leg. So press the foot into the mat, stretch the leg back. Both hips are square. Open your heart, hands to your hips. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and melt your heart forward. It might only go a little bit. You might be like, oh yeah, that's enough. Or it might go further. Play with it. This one's called pyramid pose. Notice the knees. Notice any hypermobility and hug muscles to bones. Last moment. Press into your feet. Come all the way up. Yes, we're going to step the back foot in about halfway. Maybe that was a little more than halfway. But you get the idea, right? A shorter step. Make sure that you've got that furniture, that wall, that back of a chair, whatever in front of you, because we're going to be playing with that. If you need to scoot yourself closer to that item, then do that. Just wiggle yourself up. Hips are still square. What we're going to play with here is bringing that back foot straight back. All of our weight's going to be on the front leg. Back leg's going to be on toes. We're just going to face that furniture or that wall. Yep. Now put a little more bend in your front knee. When you're ready, I'd like you to play with the idea of tipping your upper body forward and getting lighter on the back foot, almost like a lever or a seesaw, with our bottom leg being the base of it, the fulcrum. So now if you can get to that furniture in front of you or that wall, bring both hands to it. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, start to tip a little bit deeper. Lift the back leg a little bit higher. Play with this idea of warrior 3 pose. Wrap the outer right hip down. And if you're like, oh man, that's really tense, take a break. And then meet us back in it. 2 breaths. When you're ready, bring the toes down. Press against that furniture, that wall, and come all the way back. Yes, step your back foot forward, and oh my gosh, shake it out. Get your sip of water. We're almost done with all this active stuff, and then it's going to feel amazing. Maybe it already feels amazing. So let's do second side. Come up near the front of the mat. Roll your shoulders up, back, down. Hands to your hips or palms face forward. So we're going to begin with playing with that slow motion step back. Big inhale. Exhale, sink into your right leg. A little bit of bounce in that knee so you've got some flexibility to move. Let's get lighter on the left toes. So when you're ready, play with the idea of a slow motion step back. Even if it's fast or awkward, that's cool. Just play with it. Find a comfortable stance. Step your feet wider like railroad tracks. Back foot's going to turn out, and we're mindful of the back knee. Yep. When we step back, our hips open to the side. Super normal. It's what the body does. Let's take the right hip, though, back as we bring the left hip forward, square into the front. Yes. Hands to hips or beside you, whatever feels better. Inhale. Exhale. Sink into that front knee. If it feels like there's nowhere for it to go without taking it forward at the ankle, wiggle your toes forward and then sink in. Keep the knee wide. And then hug some of this weight back. So the back leg has to work too. We're not pouring it all into the front thigh. So we're playing with Warrior One pose. You can keep the hands here on the hips, palms forward, open heart, or arms overhead. Maybe side two, you want to do a little different than side one. That's allowed. Break all the rules. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, bring your hands to your hips. If they were overhead, float them down. Look down at your front knee. You want to keep it like pointed right ahead or right towards the ceiling. Press into your front foot and straighten the leg strongly without hyperbending or hyperflexing that knee. Nice. So no locking the knees. Hips are still square. Hopefully, if they're not, adjust them a little. Take a big inhale and lift your heart. As you exhale, think of hinging right here at the hips. So you're bringing your heart forward, keeping the shoulders back. And maybe you come forward a millimeter and you're like, yeah, I'm good right here. And maybe your body's like, no, I want to go deeper. So you find your spot. And we're going to take 2 deep breaths in pyramid pose. When you're ready to come up, I want you to bend into your knee a little bit. And then press your way up and step in about halfway, maybe a little more. Whew. Nice. If your feet need to shake out at any point, you just stop, shake out your feet, and then rejoin us. So now you want to make sure that you're going to be within reach of your furniture, and especially now that you know where we're going with it, right? So make sure you're far enough forward that you'll be able to get to your furniture or your wall. Let's start with hands on hips. If you feel better with the hands out, that's totally cool. And then we're going to sink our weight into that front right leg. Come on, just the tip toes or the base of the toes on the back foot. This might be your balance. This is an awesome place to play with balance. But as we start to play with this pose, know that you could experiment with going deeper. And so we inhale to lift the heart. Keep that front knee a little bit buoyant. As we exhale, we play with the idea of that seesaw, so bringing the upper body forward as you start to get lighter on the back foot. Maybe even lift the back foot. And when you can, bring your arms forward, your hands forward to either the wall or the back of the chair or the back of your couch or whatever's nearby. Maybe it's the foot of your bed. Wrap the outer hip down. And play with the idea of melting your heart to lift the back leg. Playing with the idea of Warrior 3 pose. And I know probably my fingers and part of my hands are off screen, but you know that what we're going is into the shape. Last moment. And when you're ready, just lightly bring those toes back. Slide yourself away from the furniture and stand up. Step out of it, shake it out. So good. It's also so hot in my place right now. So shake it out a little bit. It's the middle of summer. I mean, what do you expect? So when you're ready, we're going to come right back down to our mats. So if you have a pillow or 2 pillows, or you have a yoga bolster to sit on, then do that. I'm going to grab one of these guys. Any stack of pillows or rolled up blankets work. As soon as I sit down, and you can come down any way you want. As soon as I sit down, I'm going to have a big drink of water. You do you, man. Whatever you want to do. Once you're sitting on a bolster, or a couple pillows, see what I did there? Pillows, bolster. Bring your feet together. Start to take your knees apart. You might need to feel this out a little. For most of us, knees are going to be way away from the floor, and I just want you to let go of that being the goal. We don't care if the knees ever touch the floor. Not important. What is important is that if you let your knees go, we don't hold on to them. If you let your knees go, do they feel safe? If you feel any tugging or pulling at the knees, or it feels like there's too much pressure on your knees, that's when you want to grab a pillow underneath each knee or thigh, or if you have access to yoga blocks, you could put a block under each knee. You could stuff some blankets under there. Let go of the idea that you have to have all of the props, and instead play with what you have nearby to give yourself some support. When you find a shape that feels safe in your knees, you can let gravity do some work, right? When you find a spot that's good, hang out there. Now we're going to add a little bit of muscular effort. So first I'm just going to ask you to sit up really tall, open your heart, and take your shoulders back. Then relax elbows and shoulders. So for me, I think about getting my elbows really heavy. Yeah, perfect. And now I'd like you to shift your attention to your feet without fixating on what your feet look like or whether or not you need to clip your toenails or any of that stuff. I just want you to look at your feet and scooch them together and try to bring the base of the big toes together, the base of the pinky toes together, and bring into contact the whole heels and bring those together, the balls of the bottoms of the feet here. So here, the balls of the feet here, bring them into full contact. And then press your feet firmly together. So use the power of your muscles in your legs, press your feet together. And then pull your toes as far apart from each other as you can while pressing your feet together. And if you look down, you should see the arches of your feet activate. This is really good for your feet, but it's also really good for bringing some energy into this shape. So if it's helpful to you to hold on to the front of your knees or your shins or your ankles, that's fine. Please don't hold on to the feet because that can torque on the knees a little bit. But holding on wherever you want, press the feet together. And whether you're using blocks or your knees are floating, instead of thinking about getting your knees down, think about stretching your knees out to opposite walls. So a couple of breaths of just pressing your feet together, pulling your knees apart. And as you do that, you might feel your heels pulling towards the body a little. And if that's a nice feeling and you want to explore that, you can bring the heels in, then press the feet together, pull the knees apart, and lift your heart. That might be all your body wants or needs right now, and that's a lot. If you're open and you want to dive deeper, then lift the heart, big inhale, and as you exhale, scooch the booty out behind you and start to melt your heart forward, keeping your spine long, keeping your shoulders soft and back, keeping the back of your head pressing back a little. So we're maintaining that integrity of the spine, but we're still pressing the feet together, pulling the toes apart, pulling the knees apart. And this is no easy pose to do. We'll spend 2 more breaths here, big deep breaths, exploring. When you're ready, start to press your way back up. Nice big inhale. Use your hands, walk them up the floor, the legs, or if you're already upright, just bring yourself back a little. Lean back onto your pillow. Stretch out one leg and then the other. Give your legs a little shake. Roll out your legs, point and flex your feet. Whatever feels nice. Roll your ankles. And we're going to finish this practice as we started it by lying on our backs. So when you're ready, move any of your props aside. And for this last pose, have a bolster if you have one. Most of us don't. Or have a couple pillows handy so you have something for our last pose before Shavasana. I'm going to take my hair back out of its clip and meet you on your back. So come down any way that makes sense to you. Doesn't have to be any kind of fancy transitions. You might want to just move a little when you get there. You might be just ready to settle in. And when you get to your back, roll each shoulder blade a little more underneath you and notice how the back of your body feels. So we're going to take some time in a twist. And twists are really, really great way to sort of reset your body after all of the work we've done. And also to sort of neutralize anything that's happening in the spine. So they're very healthy for you. So For twists, it's nice to have some pillows or a bolster handy, and I'll show you how we can use them in a second. So make sure yours is within arm's reach. So we're going to twist with our knees to the right first, and mostly that's so you can really see what I'm doing with my legs. But to begin with, bring your hands beside you, and a lot of people really love to take their arms out one to either side like a big T. I don't quite have the full space to do that, but another thing that's really nice is to take your arms into these sort of L shapes, and that might be too intense for your shoulders, but if it feels nice, that's one thing you could do. But hands down beside your hips is fine as well. What we're going to do is walk our feet a little bit to the left side of the mat, and then we're going to pick up our lower body, so our hips. Pick up our hips, scooch them over, and put them back down. So they may be like half off of your mat, and that's fine. So we want to be literally crooked on a mat for a minute, okay? Maybe not a minute, but a second. We're going to hug the knees in towards the body. Maybe you hold the backs of your thighs. Bring them away from the floor. You can keep your feet on the mat for this, but I like to do it this way. And then we're going to roll the knees over to the right. And if you start to come over to the right and you're like, that floor is really far away, that's when you grab your bolster or your pillows or your blankets, and you just bring your knees to those. If your body's totally fine coming further over, then you come further over. But the idea here is that your opposite shoulder stays connected with the floor. And when you're twisting the knees to the right, you might choose to take your gaze either right up to the ceiling or a little to the left. But it's more important that your neck be comfortable than that you twist the head. So head neutral is where I usually do twists. Let's take 5 deep breaths together. Big inhale and exhale. 4 more like that. And last breath. And so to come out of twists, if your gaze is off to the left, bring your head back into neutral. That part's really important. And then keep your head neutral. Brace your feet into the mat, hug your belly into your spine, and just either bring your knees right up into the center again, or hug your knees into your belly and then roll onto your back. So you can have the feet flat and then just bring the knees up, or tuck them in and then bring them up. And when you come back up, you're going to feel crooked again. So bring yourself back into the center of your mat. And then we're going to do the second side of the same pose. So I'm going to scooch myself a little bit to the right side, a little more space. So the first step, as I mentioned before, is that you walk your feet over to the right. Then you pick up your hips and take them over to the right pretty generously. And then you can hug your knees in, roll onto the outer left hip. Find your way into the twist. So you're either going to add some pillows underneath that left knee, left thigh, left shin, or hang into gravity. Right shoulder stays heavy. The shape I'm choosing with my arms today can be pretty intense, so you may be better off to have the palm down, arms a little lower, or arms out like a T. All of these are valid. Let's take 5 deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. And 4 more just like that. When you're ready to come out of this shape, first we want to engage the muscles a little, so hug belly in towards spine and either plant the feet and bring the knees up, or hug the knees in and roll onto your back. And then when you come out of it, wiggle your way back into the center of your mat. Get yourself as comfortable as you can get on the mat. And this is a great time to add pillows under the backs of the knees, a blanket if you're feeling, heaven forbid, actually cold, although I suppose it depends on where you are in the world. Might be cold where you are, but you might want a blanket. You might want a heavy eye pillow over your eyes. Whatever you like, just settle in. And we're just going to take several slow, deep breaths in a bit of a shavasana together, just a short one to really settle in and seal the practice. Let yourself settle in, your body be comfortable. Notice the quality of your breath and the state of your mind and emotions. Let your belly relax. Let your forehead smooth out. And let your eyes sink heavy into your head. Notice how you feel. And let this feeling be the anchor, the thing that keeps you coming back for a practice. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. When you're ready, just start to roll your ankles or your wrists. Wiggle fingers or toes. Maybe take a gentle turn of your chin over each shoulder. When you're ready, some bigger movements. Maybe you bring your feet to the pillows beneath your knees and just gently rock knees side to side in some little moving twists. Maybe you like to hug your knees in towards your body and squeeze. Maybe you hate that and you'd really rather just take the legs and arms long. Anything you like that lets you move and stretch. And when you're ready, please mindfully bend your knees and roll to one side. And take just a moment of our breath there. And when you're ready, find your way up. Use your hands and arms to support you. And let's all meet together in a comfortable seat again. So sit up really, really tall, cross-legged if you want. You can have one leg out, both legs out, feet together, knees apart, whatever you like. Excuse me. And roll your shoulders up to your ears, back and down. Take a nice big inhale, lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, bow your head chin to chest. Bring your hands, palms together at the center of your heart. Closing tonight's practice with deep gratitude for ourselves for making this time for self-care. Gratitude for this practice of yoga and for each other. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. My dog is like, I'm done now. I'm going to just curl up over here and have a nap right now. I really appreciate you tuning in to this live practice. Don't forget that in a little bit later this evening, I will be sending authorization through YouTube so that you can watch this video again on your own time. You're welcome to watch it as many times as you want. That's why it's there. And beginning August 1st, the Tuesday night class will be starting at 6 p.m. We're going to try that time for a bit just to allow for more time zones to be able to participate. But remember, if that timing is too tight for you because of work or what have you, then don't forget that you get that link after to watch on your own time. So hopefully continue to join me for these practices. Our very last free class is on Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. So if you're not signed up for that one yet and you want to be, please send me an email or send me a message over at Facebook at the Fat Yogini, and I will make sure and get you all signed up. Thanks again so much, everybody. Namaste and good night.